Well, good evening, my friends. So today we are going back to Tales from the Cab, episode number 2. So we'll roll that intro and then we're going to get into it. What's up, bear biker bro? Alright, don't wave at me. So, hopefully you guys can hear me good. Tales from the Cab. So today we're going to have a couple stories of my many years of being a truck driver. And I will tell you, the last story, it's going to be a little risque. So, in my 25 years of driving for the same company, the majority of those years have been spent working nights. And I think I spent a total of maybe 3 years working daytime. So this story happened while I was working the daytime shift. And what we do in the daytime shift, we make deliveries, we make pickups, yada yada yada. We're an LTL company. So this day in particular, I had the saleswoman riding with me to visit her companies that, you know, she serviced, and we were on our way back in. So we're cruising across the turnpike, doing our whole, you know, 65 miles an hour, which our trucks are governed at. And I'm checking my mirrors and I'm looking around, and I glance in my driver's side mirror, and I see what appears to be a car bouncing off my trailer and slamming into the Jersey wall in the middle. So I says to the saleswoman, I said, "Hey, I think that dude just hit us." And she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "I didn't feel a thing." I said, "Well, I really didn't feel a thing either, but you know, I happened to notice it." So we pulled over. I got out. I looked at the trailer. Obviously, somebody had hit me. So she called the cops. I called the company. So in the meantime, an SUV pulls up in front of me, a little ways in front of me, and I see the driver get out and starts walking back towards where I am. And he says to me, "Oh, you might as well just go ahead because the dude don't have insurance anyway." And I'm like, "Well, what the fuck was the dude doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't leave." I said, "I gotta wait for the cops. It's a company thing. I can't go anywhere." He's like, "All right, well, like I said, the dude don't have insurance, so if you wanted to leave, just leave." I'm like, "Well, I'm not leaving." Next thing I know, the dude runs back to where the car was, which was a little way back, because by the time I got slowed down, you know, probably about maybe a quarter mile behind me. And so I'm sitting there, we're sitting there waiting for the cops, and next thing you know, to see the dude come running back, you know, getting back in the SUV. Then another dude comes running by. I'm like, that's pretty fucked up. He jumps in the SUV and the SUV takes off. And I'm like, alright. So I'm sitting there and the state trooper pulls up, you know, and I get out and I'm talking to the state trooper, and he's like, there's nobody in that car. I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, an SUV pulled in front of me, and the driver ran back. Next thing I know, 2 guys were running back to the SUV, and they took off." So I'm telling the cop this, and so he's sitting there filling out his report, and we're talking yada yada yada. Come to find out that the plates that were on that car did not belong on that car. They had PA plates on the car, and the last time the car was registered in New York. So, what's up, bro? Obviously, it was a stolen car or something else was going on that I wasn't privy to. But I mean, it was a decent, it was an Acura, nice Acura that was totally wadded up and hit the Jersey wall. I didn't hear anything else. Did very minimal damage on the trailer. It blew out the side marker light and dented the ICC bumper. But other than that, no real damage at all. So, yeah, there was a little bit exciting stuff going on there. So my next story takes place in either 2008 or 2009. I'm not exactly sure when. But it was a Friday before Christmas. And Christmas was falling midweek, late week, the following week. So I was running Richmond, Virginia at the time. And so I left, and I knew we were getting a snowstorm. Didn't know how bad it was going to be. So I left my terminal and I hammered down, going down 95 south. I get past Baltimore, coming into Jessup, and all of a sudden the snow hits. So I'm like, damn, ground is starting to get covered real fast. I call the company. I call the number I'm supposed to call, and I say to them, hey, here's the situation. The snow's getting really bad. I still got another 170, 180 miles to go before I get to Richmond. I said, if I turn around right now, I can make it back to the Philly area without an issue. Well, this jackass on the phone tells me, no, you keep going. Go as far as you can go. Okay. I said, are you sure about this? He said, yeah, just keep going. Have any more problems, call us back. Okay. So I keep going. And as I keep going, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And as I get down onto the Beltway to head towards DC, there's like nobody on the road. It's like a ghost town out there. Snow's coming down. It's getting crazy. All of a sudden I see a car in front of me trying to get up this little molehill of a hill, and as I'm getting closer to it, he's not going fast at all. But as I get even closer, I find out it's like a late model Corvette for the time, trying to drive in this snowstorm, and he's all over the road. He's like, I don't know how he even got any kind of forward progress. So I'm trying to get around this motherfucker, and he finally gets out of my way, and I go. So I get into Virginia, and scale houses were closed, obviously. It was a snowstorm. So I get into Virginia, and as I get about 30 or 40 miles into Virginia, it comes to a dead stop. Everybody and their brother and their mother, I guess they were trying to go to grandmom's house because they were off the following week for Christmas, and they figured they'd get an early start. Not exactly sure why you would get an early start in a fucking snowstorm, but hey, whatever. So apparently Virginia either has no idea how to clean roads in the snow, at least back in this time, and didn't really have the proper equipment to do it. Every exit ramp was blocked with people stuck, parked, whatever. So you couldn't get off of 95. So you kind of just had to just crawl. Now, I say crawl, I mean crawl. So by the time I finally get to Richmond, it's somewhere around 7 o'clock in the morning. Now I left my terminal at 7:30. Ran through Baltimore, no problem, hammered down, no weather whatsoever. From right around 160, 170 miles out, it took me 9 hours to go 160, 170 miles. Well, needless to say, I was out of time. And this was a Saturday morning. And me, along with another 20 other drivers, were put up in the hotel. Now, the only thing good about it was the hotel wasn't a bad hotel. I stayed in a lot of flea bag hotels, being stuck in the snow, but it was not a bad hotel. So, yeah, 11 hours sitting in the truck. Not a fun thing to do. So a lot of guys, this is going to get long. A lot of guys, back in the regulations of that day, you had so many hours to work a week, and then you had to reset. Well, a lot of guys had to wait till Sunday night to reset. Me, I had run a shorter run one day that week, 1 or 2 days that week. So I had like 8 or 9 hours left for the week. So I figured, fuck it, I'll wait till Sunday morning. I'll go home, I'll fucking head back Sunday morning. So I'm in this hotel all day Saturday night. I get up Sunday morning. I'm like, fuck, got 8, 9 hours, got plenty of time. Generally only a 4.5, 5 hour ride back. I got plenty of time. Let me tell you, the roads really weren't that much cleared up in fucking Virginia after a day and a half. So it took me everything I had. It took me 9 hours to get back. Man. So recently, over the last 6 or 7 years, I guess it has been, they have given us the wherewithal and the ability to say, hey, it's unsafe for us to be out here on the road turning around, and they really can't say anything to you about it. They can't write you up, they can't do nothing because you're deeming it's unsafe. So fuel lights on. So yeah, I made it back and it was shitty. All right, so now I'm going to get into the risque story. The risque story is as follows. I was leaving and I was at a traffic light, and like right outside the mall, and this was dusk, so it wasn't dark, but it wasn't completely bright. So I'm sitting at a red light and a car pulls up next to me, and I look over and all I see in the window is a female ass in the window and passenger side. Interesting. Now it was covered, it was clothed. It was a clothed female ass. So I'm sitting there and I'm like looking, and I see the woman is draped over the man's lap, and I see a whole lot of movement going on down yonder there. Well, I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting there. Next thing I know, she must have realized she was next to somebody or something. She turned around, looked right at me, smiled, waved, and went right back to work. So yeah, she must have been really hungry for some fucking tubesteak that day, because man, she was going to fucking town on that bitch. Oh man. Light turned green and they drove off. Oh man, I left my ass off. Fucking daylight. Like I said, it wasn't bright daylight, but it was still daylight out. You're right outside the main drag in front of the mall. Anybody could have seen you. And I'm assuming she kind of liked that, because she was happy when she saw me looking. Like I said, she smiled and waved to me, and yeah, very interesting. Yeah. So anyway, Hope you enjoyed this this episode of Tales from the Cab. So until next time, my friends, y'all stay safe and y'all love one another. Never mind. Peace.